Citizens and residents of St. Kitts-Nevis, I bring to you the post-cabinet briefing for cabinet meeting held Monday, April 8, 2013. Deputy Prime Minister, the Honourable Dr. Earl Assie Martin, presented to the cabinet at its meeting on Monday a comprehensive three-pronged plan to reduce the cost of electricity to residents and nationals of the Federation of St. Kitts-Nevis. The Honourable Deputy Prime Minister explained that in addressing the unacceptably high cost of electricity in St. Kitts-Nevis, resulting from the very high cost of fuel imported from overseas, he was adamant that government adopt a medium-term strategy to bring immediate relief lasting about 3 years and a long-term strategy to reduce the cost of electricity over many years into the future. Under his medium-term plan, the Honourable Deputy Prime Minister Dr. Assie Martin proposes to subsidize the fuel charge to all residential consumers, and this will be done in a manner to promote efficient use of electricity by all consumers. The plan that Dr. Martin outlined is as follows. 1. Consumers burning less than 250 kilowatt hours of electricity will pay zero fuel charge and additionally will benefit from further reductions in the principal part of the electricity bills. This intervention will benefit 65% of all residential consumers. Number 2, persons using between 250 and 350 kilowatt hours of electricity will pay only half or 50% of the fuel charge. Number 3, persons consuming between 350 and 450 kilowatt hour of energy will pay 60% of the fuel surcharge. Fourthly, persons consuming between 450 and 500 kilowatt hours of electricity will pay 70% of the fuel surcharge, whereas consumers using between 500 and 800 kilowatt hours of electricity will have to pay 80% of the fuel surcharge. Finally, beyond 800 kilowatt hours of electricity, residential consumers will pay 90% of their fuel surcharge. Deputy Prime Minister Martin was very strongly of the view that while the government must help consumers to meet the unavoidably high cost of electricity, there must be a component of the program to encourage the practice of conservation and to encourage responsible consumption to make the program more sustainable. Dr. Martin intimated that the high cost of fuel on the world market is driven by demand or consumption, and that all consumers all over the world, St. Kitts-Nevis included, have a responsibility to reduce their consumption of electricity in order to push the price of fuel downwards. With regard to the long-term interventions, Deputy Prime Minister Dr. Martin proposed 2 initiatives. Firstly, a project for immediate implementation, but which will have long-term impact, will provide low-interest, long-term loans for the purchase of solar energy systems for up to 600 residential consumers in the first instance. The term of the loan of approximately 15,000 Eastern Caribbean dollars will be 5% for 10 to 20 years, which will mean a monthly payment of about 100 Eastern Caribbean dollars to 160 Eastern Caribbean dollars with no down payment. For consumers using electricity beyond a certain threshold, this is a very viable option to reduce electricity costs and to contribute to the development of the emerging renewable energy sector in our country, as electricity generated in excess by these solar energy systems will be sold back into the grid and money collected for it by the residents. The fine details on the criteria for accessing this program will be made available at the Ministry of the Deputy Prime Minister's office at the Needmus office. Finally, Dr. Martin proposed that the federal government continue to give very strong support to the geothermal energy project to harness the benefits of a much cheaper source of energy over the long term. The analysis shows that, taking all things into consideration, outputs of electricity from the geothermal energy project can decrease the price of electricity to as low as 15 cents per kilowatt hour, and this would mean a drastic reduction in the overall cost of electricity. In addition, Dr. Martin requested of the Cabinet provisional approval for the completion of the final phases of a wind energy development project to be developed in Bellevue as another renewable energy initiative to help reduce the cost of electricity over the long term. Dr. Martin, the recently appointed Deputy Prime Minister, was very confident that the future prosperity of our Twin Island Federation rests with our initiatives as a government to secure long-term sustainability on the energy front. Low energy cost, the Minister said, will precipitate rapid development in every sector of the local economy and redound to the benefit of all. This brings to an end the post-Cabinet briefing for a Cabinet meeting held Monday, 8th of April, 2013. I thank you very much for listening.